Hello all. We here at the Relative Miners, we are obsessed with creativity and we're obsessed with process. We like to talk about how we do things and learn about how other people create music, create other types of art, and the processes we find really, really interesting. So I was just going to quickly jump in, do a little behind the scenes for the last video that I did. I'll just point out a few things if there are any aspiring video editors out there. Just show you how I did a couple of those camera tricks, and maybe it will be of interest. So you're probably familiar with the Muppets. The song I did was from the 1979 film, The Muppet Movie. It's this scene where...
Left if you come to a fork in the road.
Where...
Turn left at the fork in the road. Turn left.
I don't believe that. Moving right along, we found no life on the highway.
And your way is my way.
So trust my navigate.
So it's this famous scene where Fozzie and Kermit are crossing the country in a Studebaker, and they're singing this duet together. And we watched this video with our kids the other day, and they thought this scene in particular was hilarious. They loved the song and the jokes that come up through it. And so I thought maybe I'd make a little funny video for them just to kind of play around there and kind of give them a laugh. So I go into... So check the video out if you haven't seen it already. But essentially, it's two of me sitting on a couch, the Kermit me. I already knew I could do a little bit of a Kermit and a little bit of a Fozzie voice. So I had that kind of pegged down a little bit already. I dressed in green for Kermit, and I dressed in brown for Fozzie. And then, so we have two of me sitting on a couch. Obviously, there's only one me. So I'll just quickly show that's, I try never to, while sitting on the couch, I tried never to cross this line because there's actually obviously a cut, a crop, it's called in the video right here. So if I just delete this one, you'll see what the scene looked like to begin with. So there's me sitting on a couch by myself.
Can't lose. This could become a habit. Opportunity.
You see there I actually started singing the wrong line. So a little error there, a little blooper that ended up being left in. And then the other take here of me, this is the one I actually had to crop. It's laying on top in Premiere. So this one sits on top of this one. And then I cropped this video here. So you can see if I move this back and forth, that's actually cropped. And the edge of that crop is, I used something called edge feather, so it wasn't just a hard line. See, I've set my edge feather here. Oops. If I set it to 0, you'll see what the hard line would have looked like. You see a little bit of a hard line there. The light in the room changed slightly. So if I put an edge feather on, it kind of softens that edge a little bit and makes the two go together nicely. Of course, the hardest part of this video was just remembering when to say which line. So I had to rehearse it a bunch of times on my own while actually driving in the car sometimes to make sure that I had each part separately so I wouldn't be singing the wrong voice as the wrong character. I did some close-ups here,
Skyland.
which is a nice bit of variety in the video, but also gave me an opportunity to potentially cut. So I did the whole thing in one take, but laying close-ups over top allows you to actually cut to different versions. I think I might have actually taken 2 different takes here. So what happens if I remove this?
Habit. Moving right along.
Oh, no, never mind. There's just a bit of a color cut. Anyways, but it gave me the opportunity, if I needed to take one part of one wide take and a different part of a one wide take and stick them together, and there wouldn't be a jump cut there because it's covered up with the close-up. Okay, just a couple other things to point out. I did record the entire song on my own in Logic. It's just sampled drums and sampled bass, but then ukulele. And I played the keyboards as well. And then actually the trickiest part of the whole thing, and a part that I wasn't sure if it was going to work, so there's 2 things. There's this instrumental section, and I wasn't quite sure what to do with the instrumental section. Originally, I was just kind of jam on the instruments and sort of dance around a little bit. But then I decided I'd try to fill it with a few more visual gags. So where is this? Okay, so you have me playing rock, paper, scissors with myself. And obviously this had to be synchronized, so I followed the beat. I said I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, rock. And I had to remember which one I was gonna do as each character, and remember if I was going to win or lose, so that all had to be planned out ahead of time. So you'll see this is what I was actually doing as the Fozzie character. So I was just playing it by myself, but I knew what the other me would be doing because it all had been planned out ahead of time. And then finally, the part that was, I don't know, maybe most trivial or maybe most ambitious or almost most ambitious. I had this part where I toss a Malteser and then catch it in my mouth. Of course, I can't do that by myself, so I'll show you what it looked like without this close-up, this medium shot here. So I'll remove this. So I'll go slow-mo too so you can see. Obviously, I throw it and it just totally vanishes. I don't actually catch anything. I was just miming as Fozzie. But then I put in this close-up and it was actually, it's this one right here. So this is what it actually would have looked like. My wife was actually in the shot. So Kirsten threw the Malteser and I caught it, and then I was able to obviously cut it together to look fairly seamless, although if you slow it down you might actually see that Malteser disappear as it crosses that line. Oh no, we're good because it goes out of frame anyways, so that's nice. And then finally, the last kind of interesting visual thing that I did, well, I obviously synchronized this and I had to remember which way to go. But the final element that was kind of a little bit mind-blowing if you're not expecting it slightly, I guess, is when I high-five myself at the end. Which worked out pretty well. It easily could not have, because this is actually what I was doing, obviously. Just high-fiving the air. And then in this version, turn off the, so again. And of course that doesn't make a sound, so I had to add that sound effect in. You see the sound effect, this just slap sound effect, which actually recorded just myself clapping and then synchronized it with the timing. And it looks pretty good. If I slow it down again, you'll see my one hand kind of disappears as it crosses this line. If I turn, so my one hand kind of disappears. Let's see what happens if I delete this. So you can see I'm just slapping the air, and I made the crop go to where it would kind of line up. I was a little bit nervous about this because if it didn't work out and it looked awful, I had done the whole thing, it's right at the end, so I had to commit to it to begin with. So I actually went and did a screen test a couple of days before, just to see if it would work. So two of me on the couch. I think I was just filming this on my phone just to see if it would work. And I thought it looked okay. It's fast enough that you can't really tell. Actually, my one hand disappears entirely in this version. But I thought still, it's quick. It will trick the eye into looking like what it's meant to look like. So that is lots of fun. That's my video. I hope maybe you'll watch it again and see if you can pick out those camera tricks and think about whether or not it was successful, or whether or not it was worth the effort. type of thing. Okay, well, thanks a lot for tuning in. And again, we love to show process. We'd love to hear about your creativity and your processes and see your art as well. So comment and we'll talk.